Hello everyone and welcome to this new HEFLO's webinar. Today we will see how we can use the information hosted in your environment thanks to internal database, or we call generally records, to use all this information inside your different forms for your BPMN processes. So until now, normally you use this kind of information. For example, here I create a record of product and one of supplier. So generally in your process forms, you can use only one information to select one of the supplier. This information is called the textual representation that you can find here, and you can change or customize. But with this functionality, you are able, for my case, for example, to choose in my process form only the name of the different company. So here it will be Epsilon Imports, Zeta Logistics, etc. But today we will see that in addition to add this information, we will be able to retrieve the most important part of the information that related to this record. And moreover, for example, here in the product record, as you can see, we have the different information of the product, but also a related supplier, which is also a record information. So we will see that we will be able also to link information between different table or different record thanks to information that is linked. In my case, the supplier, which will be the link between supplier record and product record. So to do that, I created a purchase order process, very simple, just to illustrate the case. So here, the process is the following. You will be able to create a purchase order request, okay? And after this purchase order request created by someone, it will go directly to the purchaser's team. We'll be able to check the supplier to see if it's okay, and after send an order to this supplier thanks to an email. So now let's go a little bit more in detail about the different forms of this process. So first of all, the requester will fill in a form. So I will choose a product belonging to the list of my record here, okay? And what I want to do here is when you choose this information, the system completes all the information of the different fields here, which are corresponding, in fact, of the different property of my record. Good. After, I want that once the system goes to the purchaser's team, we have a script task that will be able to retrieve all the information concerning the supplier related to the chosen product. So I would like, for example, if I choose this product, that the system retrieve all the information of this supplier that we can find here, this one. And I want that this information are displayed in one of the form of the purchaser and find this information. Finally, I would like to let the opportunity of the purchaser to choose whether or not he wants to continue with this supplier. So for example, here I create a simple actions to let the possibility of the purchasers to choose if he wants to switch the supplier. And if he click here in the icon, the system will display this field thanks to a really simple visibility rule, okay? And what I want here is when he change a supplier, and I want to update all the information that are here. And for this, I will use this button, okay? And at the end of this process, I want to send an email to the chosen supplier with all the information of the product selected. So here I create an email template, and as you can see, and I will enter in more detail after, I would like to put the different information of the product. Good. Now let's do a test work item just to illustrate all this configuration. And after, I will show you more in detail how you can do this configuration. So here we create a test work item, and I will choose a product. So for the example, let's choose the first one. And as you can see, the system was able to fill in all the information of the product, which are corresponding of this line here, that the system were able to retrieve all the information. Very good. Now let's go to the next tab. And as you will see, the script task is completely invisible, transparent for the user. And we arrive to the check supplier task. So here I can find all the information concerning the product as it was before. But in the supplier information, as you can see, the system was able to retrieve all the information concerning the supplier linked to the product number one, let's say like that, which is beta traders. So here, let me go. Yeah, we are here and we have all the information that are hosted in this part. So let me check. It's here, Jane Smith, info@beta.com. So yeah, we have this information. Now, let's say that for any reason, the purchaser wants to change the supplier. So we click here and I will be able to choose a new one. So here, this time I will choose alpha. Okay. And as you can see, I change here, but nothing happened here because in this case, I want that the user validates before to do any change. So here, I will click on the button to update all the information. Okay. And now, as you can see, we have the information with this company Alpha Supplies. Check here. Jando contact at alpha.com. It's exactly what we have here. Okay, perfect. Now let's finish the work item and let's go see the message. As it is a work item of test, it goes directly to my email address. But here you can see that in production, it will go directly to the email of the supplier, which is contactalpha.com. So everything is correct. And here we can see all the information of the product that I choose. Okay, all the information retrieved for this record for the product one. Perfect. So now let's go in details to show you how we can set up all this configuration. It's very easy and it's a native feature now of the tool. So you will not need any API or complex configuration. So for the first one, which is an automatic change, when I choose the product, I want that everything is filled in. To do that, you will need to choose, first of all, your field of record, the record that you want. So in my case, it's product. After, you will need to click on the pencil icon, okay, and click on the button change. By default, maybe you will arrive to the screen of API using Node.js, but you will need to choose data update set values. And after, the important part will be here. In the left part, you will need to choose the different field that you want to complete thanks to the information of the properties. And in the right part, you will need to choose all the properties of the record that you choose. Okay. So here, everything is done already, but two important information. The first one is that for the moment, we can only retrieve the information inside of a text type field in your process. Second information is that some properties will not be able to be used for the moment, such as dates, files, record list, for example. Okay. To create the correspondence is very easy. First, you click and add parameters. You start by choosing the field in the left part. So it will be a text field to be able to work. So for example, I will put contact email, okay? And in the right part, you have to find the property of the record. To do that, 2 points, okay? And you will choose the information that you need. So here it's related to product because it is the field that we choose in the beginning of the process. So product. And from that moment, you can see you have the information that it's a record. And so if you choose the first one, it will be the textual representation, which doesn't make sense in our case because it's already the first field that we complete. But after you have all the information that you can find from the properties. So here, the name of the product, the suggested price, the weight, the code, and moreover, as I said in the beginning of the presentation, you can find also the information of the supplier, because the supplier is a record inside the record of the product. So we can find the information also of the supplier. It could be good for me because I would like to find the contact email of the supplier related of this product. Okay, good. For my case, I will not change anything, but just to show you how to do. So here I click cancel. I will forget this, cancel. In the script task, so here, why we use a script task? It's because maybe you will not want to fill in all the information of the supplier directly for the first user. Maybe you just want for the second user to see it. So you can use a script task. For this, you add your script task, you go to properties. After an execution, you need to choose data update and operation set values. Okay? And after in parameters, you do the same logic that I said before. So left part, the field of your process, right part, properties of your record. Okay. So here I did something a little bit different because I want to retrieve the company name, contact name, etc. of the supplier linked to the product. So to point product, I will search the supplier and after the information that interests me. Good. And for my last configuration, you remember we were talking about button. So just to show you how we can create a button in HEFLO, it's very simple. For this, I will create a new version because as it is a published version, I can't do change. So here, supplier information, you go empty space of your form and you click this icon here. Yeah. And from that moment, you create a button. Okay. So now that you know how to do this, let's go back to the first version of our process. Okay. So here, let's go back to the button. And now we need to configure it. So you go over the top of your button, you click the pencil icon. Okay. Here you can set up a label to custom your button. You can even add an icon here. And what interests us right now is how to trigger actions. So to trigger actions, you go to the action part, choose data update set values, okay, and after you follow the same step in the parameters. So I think at this moment of the presentation, you understand that in the left part is the field of the process and the right part, the properties. So here, what we want in our case is to fill in the company name, contact name with the information of the supplier that we choose. So it's a little bit different than before because before we wanted the supplier linked to my product, and this time no, I want to choose the supplier thanks to the supplier record field that I choose, remember. And when I choose this supplier, I want to update all this information related to the supplier choice. So that's why we don't use the product.supplier in this case, but we use supplier and after dot and the property that interests you. Okay. So now you know how to set up this tree configuration. And before to finish, let's go to the email. Okay. So I told you before that we can, and you saw during the work item example, that we can send an email using the different information of the properties of the record selected. So to do this, very simple, you use the same method that you are using normally to create dynamic content in your email. So two dot. Here you will write the name of the record concern. So in my case, for example, product. And as you can see, after the product, you have a dot and the different properties. So I will put product, point, and for example, supplier. So here I will find the supplier related to the product. And if I want the email of this supplier, point, and you will choose the email. And from that moment, you are able to retrieve the information of a property of a record like that. So this method is can be interesting for you if you don't want, for example, to create complex form with the different property of the record, but when you select only one information of the product, send an email with all the data that interest the person that will receive the email. I guess that's all that I wanted to show you today concerning this new feature. Another important information that we have a complete documentation to help you to create and to configure this kind of action, which is for the automatic change, the button change, or the script task. Okay, so you will find this documentation in our knowledge base. And moreover, I wanted to tell you that this new feature will help you a lot for configuration of your process, because it will avoid you to use complex configuration using API to create this kind of configuration. Thank you very much for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel to review this video and to see other content concerning BPMN process and process management in general. Thank you very much. Goodbye.